ChannelCon 2025. This is GTIA's first official event since separating from CompTIA. Dan Wensley, the new CEO, and his team did an incredible job. It's the first event, ChannelCon, that I've ever been to. As an MSP, we didn't join CompTIA. Some great things happening there, really well attended, lots of energy, lots of great news, and great time, of course, for the podcast. Started out with Michael Chester from Valmail. Great conversation with Mike, culture, curry, and cybersecurity. A fascinating background. Really enjoyed talking with Mike. Matthias Zoomer was next. I really, Matthias got a great story, great interests, steakhouse, grit to cyber. Really great conversation. I got to spend more time with Matthias as well. Really entertaining, really fascinating and smart. He was a smart man. Chris Lord, of course, from Solus. Really great. We talked on the virtually before. It was great seeing him there. We had a great conversation from soccer fields to cyber front lines. Robin Robbins, a titan in our industry for a very long time, recently announced the Kaseya acquisition. We talked, I say, from grit to growth, but we had a really long conversation, a great conversation. I've talked to her kind of in passing over the last 20, 25 years, but it's the first time we actually had a long conversation, and she reveals a lot. Fascinating backstory. I didn't know many things about her. Thank her for the time. Really enjoyed that conversation. Ryan Walsh from PAX 8. Of course, the big PAX 8 Beyond event was recently, and known Ryan from a distance for a while. We talked just kind of here and there, but a great conversation with Ryan. Leadership, discipline. His father's an NBA coach. X's and O's. Fascinating. Pete Busam. I've known Pete for, my goodness, 20 years. Former MSP, former Navy's veteran. What he does now to help the veterans in a nonprofit. Really exciting. Really generous. Sales and marketing is what he does. He helped our MSP do it years ago. He does it now, much more automated, AI influenced. Pete Busam from Equilibrium. Mike Sanka, Movilla, the CEO. Great conversation. Kiteboarding. Didn't know anything about it. But how he got into project management. What's the probability of the sun not coming up tomorrow? Nadav Shanker. Great conversation with Nadav. Smart man, family man, has had Vercom for, oh my goodness, I think it's like 30 years. Great conversation from scuba to securing email is the name of the title. I really enjoyed talking to Nadav. Scott Barlow. I've known Scott for, oh my goodness, since the Reflection days, so at least 15 years. First time, we had a conversation like this. He was fantastic. He knows what he's doing. He's my favorite geologist. I did not know he had a degree in geology. We take that right into Sophos, right into security. Great conversation with Scott. Thank him for that. Vicky Bruns, my goodness. I've known Vicky for a long time as well. Smart, engaging, rides horses. And for a long time, and I open with that and how it can help us about learning about how MSPs grow. Great conversation with Andreas Ambul. Great talking to Andreas at Net3. They're doing great things there in private cloud. We talked about football and baseball, kind of the upbringings, how team sport helps in helping teams and helping companies. Great conversation with Andreas. Stan, even off. The first time meeting Stan, of course, I know his partner or CEO, Anoop. They're at ThreatMate. They're doing incredible things with penetration, with pen tests, and automating them. And really great conversation. But we opened up with guitars. He likes guitars. He likes music, and we just go right from guitar riffs to red teams. And we ended it with Kessie Jepson. I've known Kessie for 5-6 years now. They're at Lenovo. Fascinating woman. She has a big farm, although she never was raised in a farm, but she has one now, makes her own items that she sells at farmers markets. We talk about that and talk about what Lenovo is doing now to help MSPs. Great 3 or 4 days there in Nashville at ChannelCon. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others.
I didn't know you were into boating. Like
Boating?
you have shipmates?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was Navy, so
See that I forgot that you were in the Navy. How long were you in the Navy?
just shy of 9 years.
And what did you do there?
Well, I was one of the very first 6 gunner's mates in the world for the vertical launch missile system.
What is a vertical launch missile system? So it launches vertically.
So you think of a hatch opens on the surface of the ship and
Yes.
a missile comes out of the hull of the ship.
Yes.
Prior to that, it was guide arms. So you had to run a missile up on a guide arm and point it, and it goes. So we built the first one. We were 6 of us, and we went out, and then we built the first warship and took the first warship to sea.
Wow.
So where I'm into boating is my nonprofit that supports that ship now that it's retired, and there's an opportunity to service 21,500 naval active duty or veterans.
Wow.
Helping them with VA benefits or with mentoring or job hunting or, whatever the needs are. So
Describe what it's like to be out on one of these battleships for months at a time? Cruisers.
Well, you back when I served, we didn't have an integrated cruise, so it was all male cruise on a forward deployed vessel, combatant ship. So, you live with 350 other guys, and you work in very close spaces. So it's amazing that, there's always egos and things of that nature, but everybody gets along fairly well. And of course, military stripes of who pulls rank. There's very few instances where, if somebody outranks you and you get the order, you go do it. That's the discipline. That's the way to work.
Wow. And did you always know you were going to go into the Navy? Why did you go in?
I did not. I was not a good student, and I was not disciplined as a young man. So I went in saying, well, I'm not going to spend money on college. I really was not a classroom kind of guy, and turns out I went into the classroom and did very well.
Wow.
But it was more of a technical, and it shows that there's a need for the trades, because that's exactly what the Navy does, is they teach you the trades, and now they even high cybersecurity and,
Of
type
course.
stuff. It's a very high and growing field in the military now.
You recommend military for the youth?
I think it's not for everybody, but there is definitely a segment of people that thrive, or it's a great way to go and serve your country for 4-6 years and get a great education with practical experience backed at the same time. So you can go out.
And in this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza Dash MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza Dash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow.
Your nonprofit you mentioned. Tell me what it does again.
So we're a nonprofit. It's
You're out of North
called the
Carolina?
USS Bunker Hill Association, and basically what our goal is to serve the veterans in the active duty in many roles. So number one, we help mentoring. We help mentor those that are veterans seeking new new things in life, but we also mentor young sailors that are separating and helping them separate from military life and making the transition to civilian life, which is a very big challenge.
Yes.
It's very hard, and there was not a lot of that back in the day. The other thing that we do is if somebody's unemployed, we can put the word out, and probably within a couple hours they've got a couple job leads,
Wow.
or there's a hiring manager that knows the skill set because they worked with it in the military, so they know the skill set and they can get an interview lined up pretty quickly. So, and then we help veterans get their benefits at the VA, where they don't have to share with national service organizations who, they get funded based on how many applications they put in, not how many they solve. We don't get funded by anything. We're 100% donation. And they take a percentage, just like a lawyer, an injury lawyer takes a percentage of your case if you win, right? So the national service organizations and many of the private companies do the same thing. So if you get back pay because you put your claim in and it settles in 2 years, you get back pay from the date of you put in the claim. So they'll take 20 or 30%. So the veteran will actually get that 20 or 30%. Wow. So it's huge, and we teach them how to do it themselves, so they're not relying on somebody else, which usually settles their case within 12 months.
For a civilian to say thank you for your service, sometimes it's accepted, sometimes it's not.
It's an uncanny component of doing it. My response is always, it was an honor, and I thank you. Because it was an honor to serve the country, and it was an honor to protect the values that we have in this country. So for the citizens, but there's some that just will shake their head, nod, and move on. And I found it very different from the North and South, being that I used to be a Northerner.
Yes, you're Jersey,
right?
yeah.
I probably served during the time right after Vietnam, so in the early 80s. Through the late 80s. And Vietnam was still a little raw, so people in the North were just not as gentle or kind towards the veteran. And then moving down to South Carolina, people see you and I say, like, how did you know? And they're like, well, your haircut, or the way you walk, or the way you stand. And I mean, we're talking 35, 40 years ago.
Wow.
So, or the way that you sit in a room and you're looking, you're constantly scanning. Those things never leave you. So, but
how should a civilian show appreciation to a veteran?
They can just say thank you. They don't have to, acknowledging it and all that is fine. But most veterans, if you don't acknowledge or whatever, just be good to each other. Just be good to each other. That's what it's about.
And support some of these organizations. I know John Stewart specifically was helping for a while with some of I forget the initiative, but it had to do with veterans. I think it was...
There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
A lot of yellow ribbon type stuff that's
ribbon.
out there. We have a couple of affiliations. There's a guy in the channel called 22 Vets. And he actually funds his nonprofit through the profits of his MSP.
Wow.
So all of his profits go to fund his nonprofit. So,
Pete, we're here at, I keep on saying CompTIA. We're here at GTIA ChannelCon this week here in Nashville. What are some of your goals this week?
So I'm on the member champion, and it's a different role. I've sat on executive councils before with very specific missions with DEI or workforce or MSP, but the member champions, we just have a little different role of kind of helping the members find their way, find the value in GTIA, and we're kind of like the group that's aging out over time. We've given our time and put it in, but there's still a lot of knowledge and a lot of good guidance that we can pass on to the Gen Z, X, whoever, and give them guidance on how to best use an industry agnostic situation. So where vendors are vendors, they're not who's got more money to buy a booth or what have you. So everybody can participate at it's a level playing field. And so the exciting part with GTIA is that it's got a fresh script, right? Just under 6 months old now.
That's right.
I think I heard Dan say the 100th day,
Yeah,
or
199
101st
or
day,
something.
or something crazy.
Some number. Yeah.
But you know, it's young, and we're seeing some good traction. We're seeing the MSP community starting to come back, where for years it was lacking. So I think probably close to 300 MSPs this year versus like 150, 160 last year. So a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do to get true industry and get more people here, but different levels of content. So, you know, we're out just spreading the word, seeing what we can do to help, you know, bring the next generation in and use their benefits and help them network and get into the right groups and interests that they have. And then also find ways that we can help the community. You know, each one of us I shouldn't say each one of us, but a bunch of us have taken on little pet projects. So we just worked on the GTIA Trustmark press kit. So we delivered that out. A couple of us, myself and some of the staff, put together the press kit with do's, don'ts, not just to announce that you've won the chart or you've finished the trek. You didn't win anything. You worked hard to get it, but you've got
Complied.
it. And now how do you take it and use it in your business to set yourself apart from others? So,
why do you like working with MSPs?
well, you know, I was an MSP.
How long?
I was probably half of my career, so at least about 18, 19 years. And then I've, you know, had my marketing business since, as you know.
Yes.
And I think that there's a lot of struggles, and there's good opportunity to help in there if the acceptance is there. A lot of owners are undisciplined of their operational maturity, and certainly peer groups, as you know, also the peer groups will definitely help. And there's back when I met you, there was maybe one or two peer groups,
right?
And now I can't keep track of the number of peer groups that there are. But each one has some focuses. Some of them are based on vendor, some of them are based on maturity, some of them are just let's get together and accountability and other parts of it. So, you know, those are all really good things and makes the community stronger and a little more consistent, I think, too, and in the way that they practice and deliver business process.
And when you had the MSP, what did you notice that other MSPs needed?
Well, I saw that one, operational maturity was always a big one, and we were a fairly good size. So in my first exit, you know, we were at about 65 million, and my other exit, we were probably at about 11.5 when I exited. But the one thing that we had was we had processes. They were documented. We had procedures, and you know, we had a good accountability line from point of entry into our system all the way to the exit of the system, and could do analytics on it. So we had a pretty decent high level of maturity back, but we didn't have peer groups,
right?
And it would have been nice. But what I noticed was where we failed was sales and marketing, and that's where I formed. And we, you know, sales and marketing is a weakness for everybody, and there's no magic bullet. You know, everybody thinks like, you know, I'm going to do this one thing and tweak this one lever and it's just going to happen. And it's not. And, you know, one of the things that I love doing is every week on Monday, I write omnichannel, roll my tongue back in. I write Omnichannel Monday. And it's a blog that I write every Monday in my website, in the company website, has its own section, and it's all about different leadership and sales and marketing type things, just out of the how-to blogs, and very more specific on things that, you know, leaders should really start thinking about from a sales and marketing perspective.
What's the difference between sales and marketing?
Well, sales is the customer face, right? It's the relationship build. Marketing is part of that, right? It's a very integrated component. So marketing is the lead up, warm it up, get it to a point where that salesperson or sales lead or caller can make the call and have a reason to talk. A reason to talk, a reason to build the relationship and see if you can move it to the next level. Because let's face it, it takes a while to build a relationship and get a net new logo in the door. And your SMB clients are now stretching their arms out every morning and saying, gee, I'm going to go out and find a new technology partner today. You know, so you've got to go out and continuously put your brand in. And salespeople are not putting the brand out there. They're a part of the brand, right? They represent the brand. They have a way they should act and look or whatever to show the culture of the company and the differentiation for the relationship side. But the brand is the marketer's job, right? And getting the brand in front of the people so there's recognition.
And the difference between branding and marketing?
Well, that's a tough question, right? So brand is recognition. And marketing is continuing to find ways to reach the persona or the audience that might buy and kind of take them over time on a journey to buying from you, right? So the brand is purely your colors, your logos, your being there, but the marketing is the whole journey of getting them to have the conversation and take the next step with you.
So, I mean,
Hey, Joey Pinz here. Want to take your podcast experience to the next level? I'm excited to invite you to become a YouTube member. It's the absolute best way to support the channel and enhance your connection. Join our amazing community and unlock the incredible perks, custom loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, and priority comment replies. Your voice will always stand out. Be the first to watch new videos with early access, receive special membership shoutouts, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and updates. Dive into content available only to our members, special videos, deep dives, and insider perspectives. Engage directly with me. Suggest podcast topics you want to hear, and even get personalized video shoutouts. Hit the join button right now and become part of something special. Let's build this amazing community together. I can't wait to welcome you as a new member. Join the Joey Pinz family today.
generally speaking, MSPs are tech-led, Pete, so
Yeah.
some of those softer skills, it's not that they don't have respect for it, but they just don't quite understand it. When I started my MSP in the 90s, I remember hiring a salesperson and handing him the yellow pages. So I'm just as guilty as any of them. What hurdle do these MSPs and even small businesses many times have to get over when it comes to sales and marketing?
So one of the biggest mistakes is everybody just takes the yellow pages or goes out and buys a list and just starts doing it. They really don't know if that list really is their client or their prospect. So they've got to get out and they've got to define what their ideal client profile is. And so you got to do the building blocks before you run and go buy your list, right? So you got to build your ideal client profile. Then you got to build your buying persona, right? So the ICP is more of, it's a geography that you want to attack. It's a type of business, professional services, legal, accounting, whatever it might be, distance around your location, number of knowledge workers that might have a device that they're using in the piece. And then from there, you go out and decide who would be buying in those types of organizations. Is it a partner? And you develop the personas. And then you can develop what's called the buyer's journey. And once you do that, then you can go out and buy a list that meets all of those components.
And how do you help MSPs?
We help them and guide them through the ICP, the persona, and the buying journey. And then we will take that messaging and build out quarterly campaigns or a strategy to take them to the next level and actually implement the campaign that would go out and do the branding and do the journey to get it so it can get warmed up so a salesperson has a reason to talk versus just saying, hey, I want to sell you technology services, because we all get those phone calls every day, right? So if we can change the narrative and drive a journey with an outcome, and then the buyer will have a different response to the sales rep.
And how do you manage expectations? I mean, these MSPs are used to, hey, I'm buying a tool, now I can attack the cybersecurity, and they're used to this kind of black and white thing, quick reaction. How do you manage? Because sometimes a sales cycle can last months. How do you manage expectations with them?
So not everybody should be doing marketing because they don't have the resources, and even though they need to do it. So there's different ways that they should go in, and we've developed a program for every level of everywhere. They can step into a subscription, that they can do some of their own to get lifted and look very professional, and then they can do a smaller service where we can do that, or you can have it done for you 100%, where I act as a CMO and work with the leadership and the stakeholders to get it, get the package or get the program lifted, running, and all that. But we work very hard on setting the expectations during the conversation. And there's some companies we decide we won't take because they just don't meet our client profile of maturity. There's a level of maturity that we want in the all-in program. And if they can't meet that, then we want to push them into a different package or to a different company, or give them the advice that they need to before they're ready to spend the money and get it. So the expectations of what are we monitoring? Everybody wants a KPI these days. A lot of marketers will chase a vanity, number of social media clicks. But it's again where I go back to omni-channel. It's not just social media. It's not just an email. It's not just your website. It's all of these things aggregate, and you have to be able to have a tool that can measure, a CRM application. Many of them will monitor and look at all of those things, where you can then say, all right, this customer is warmed up and they've engaged in 5 different ways. We should talk to them, right? Where the old-fashioned way before we had all these tools was, all right, send them emails, go out, press the flesh in the community, and then start making phone calls. So it's a little more sophisticated now, a little more data-driven. And, look, we learned as we grew and got more mature too, So we require the tool sets now, and they're part of how we administer and move through the whole promotional period of a campaign.
So you talked about how are you disqualifying an MSP? What do they need to have to recognize when working with you?
So we do take some smaller MSPs that could be in sub 1 million, but usually the best candidates are not 100% owner-led. They have somebody that can
owner-led sales. Right.
Yeah, owner-led sales and marketing. And the reason that they're not good candidates is because they don't have the resource. The resource being time for them. They can usually come up with dollars, although they need to see return on the dollars in a short period of time because of their size. But typically it's a resource struggle of people, right? And so they can't commit their time. So it turns out that because they can't do that, the program won't thrive because they are the ones that are in charge of their content, and they have to give the approval for the content and understand where it is. The part 2 is then if you do warm something up through the data-driven side of it, they may not be able to follow it like they need to, and that can become another problem. So it's like anything, how do you build your business when you're only one to 3 people? So, but the best candidates are $2.5 million in revenue or above. They're usually at an inflection point of, they've exhausted their network of referrals, but they've done very good on referrals, and they'll continue to do well with referrals, but they need more to drive to the next level. And that's where they need to start adding resources, whether it's internal, external, or a combination.
Organic growth, right? It's it takes a lot of work, and it takes just takes dedication and people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, you run a business and I run a business, and we both know what organic and the old the network of people and friends and peer power and it can be very good and it can be very crippling. You definitely, execution is, if you say you're going to do it, you have to do it. And that's an expectation of, we will hold up our side of the bargain. The owners have to have an expectation. And we actually set expectations and have them sign off on an expectation document. Yeah.
That's smart.
So, back when we worked with you, we weren't that mature yet.
And neither was I. I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, well, we were all learning.
Right.
And the industry was relatively young in the managed service side at that time. So it was evolving at a very rapid rate. So,
how is AI affecting sales and marketing?
Well, it's very interesting because AI now, people think that they can do it themselves.
Right.
But they don't realize a lot of things about AI that can hurt their brand as much as help their brand. So they use AI to write and put content up, but they don't humanize it. They don't make it authentic. They don't put their flair to it. They just take it and paste it. And when you do some of that stuff, AI and search and other things all know that it was AI driven. And oh, by the way, people that are reading can tell that it was AI driven. In the ever evolving world of, when you don't trim those phrases out, right away. Or too many emojis. Like, everybody thinks emojis now, it's cool, right? It adds a little flair. But in fact, it actually hurts search rankings and other things. So, you have to look at it. Now, how it enables is the way I look at it, because I think it gives us when we sell our services, another challenge, because people think they can do it themselves. They still can't do an omni-channel, because doing an omni-channel requires all the attributes. And when you look at it, like, if you were to visit our website, you would see our package. And if you were to try and execute all those things on your own, you'd not be able to do it and run your business, right? So it's there, but with the tools and the development that we've done, nobody thinks of a marketing firm as being a development house. So now we're taking AI and we're taking all these processes, like building your ICP, your persona, your journey, and getting a list. And we're actually using AI to go in through APIs in an application that we're building to go in and actually look at the data in your, per se, HubSpot and say, so you really think this is your ideal client profile? Let's look at your data and see if it's true and prove out what you think versus what's there. And then we can take that and say, okay, well, maybe out of your customers, only 30 of the 100 that we sampled really fit your client profile.
Wow.
So let's readjust your client profile based on where you had your success. Right? And before we go out and get another list or do it, then what we do is, because we've built the journey and the persona, we can link out to the other companies like an Apollo or another data source, and we can use buyer intent against the persona and against the journey and pull that data in and get you a very solid list by doing that. So it's much more data driven and it's less guesswork. So I think the agencies that are taking advantage of AI, and we've reflagged ourselves. We are now an AI-enabled agency, and that's how we flag ourselves. We're not a traditional digital agency anymore. We use tools. We don't have to add people. We can do things faster, quicker, but it's letting us serve up a better solution and service for our customers with it, and we can focus on the true design attributes of a campaign versus the data side, because the data now can be really run out of a CRM or using AI.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypins.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it.
So, Pete, you know my story. I started the MSP back in the 90s. I was working way too hard, putting my health in the back seat, and 14, 16-hour days. You're no stranger to this. And next thing I know, I'm in front of the doctor. I'm at 340 pounds, right? And she tells me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born.
I remember.
Yes, horrible. 46-inch waist. So I spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds. You can't look at it as a finishing line, right? These are lifelong changes you have to make. People ask me how. You mentioned it before. I always say discipline, right? Willpower, focus, routine. How does discipline play a role in your life, Pete Busam?
Well, I suffered from just a year and a half ago a quintuple bypass. And, it sidelined me quite a bit. It took me by surprise. I was relatively fit. You didn't, I'm not overweight or any of that. But it just shows you that your health can hide in there, and when you're not paying attention to it, it can really come up and sneak on you. So it sidelined me, right? And it had a business impact, it had a personal impact, it had a family impact. A lot of things that you rethink as you go, and it certainly is a mindset to get healthy and stay healthy. Discipline, the discipline to get in and do. Like, I walk my 4 miles every day.
Get those steps in.
It's heart healthy, right? So, and of course here, I'm getting it in without even trying.
Yes, we're at an event here. You just walk all the time. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think the first night I got 20,000 steps
Wow.
in, getting lost, just trying to find my way around.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a mindset, and I think business leaders or anybody that's should always pay attention to your health and make sure that you're paying attention to it and not waiting till you get older to let it creep up on you and take almost like for me, my journey was I was in a hospital bed and had a major heart attack, and had I not been in the hospital, I probably would not have survived because the ambulance would have never gotten to the house in time. So I was very, blessed and fortunate to be there in the right place with the doctors and the care that I was able to get right away. But you have to take care of it. And since then, now, year and a half, Doc said I got another 60 years. I don't know that I want another 60, and I'm running a little bit and things that I didn't think that I would ever do again after I decided to stop 20 years ago. And, but so it's certainly a journey, but yeah, you got to take care of your health, and this business can take a toll on you. Absolutely. There's a lot of stressful points that go in on making sure that technology is running and safeguarded. A lot of owners, and I've, talked with a lot of owners that I've been able to share my journey with, that have come upon health issues and, where we've been able to talk and coach. And as you know, I do a little bit of that coaching side too over time. So we sit on the couch and have a session and flip the egg timer. So.
Pete, thanks so much for your time. Been a big fan of you for a long time. I'm glad you're healthy again. Anybody watching or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
You can go to our website, equilibriumconsult.com, find me on LinkedIn, or quite honestly, you could probably just Google me in a chat, AI chat, or up on regular search, and you'll find me. You'll Absolutely. Find my information or whatever, but certainly reach out.
Thank you, Pete. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Joe.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources, and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.